Hello and welcome to the next episode of Stellaris with me, Winslayer. It's been a little while since I looked at this playthrough, at least 4 days, maybe a little bit longer, so I have completely forgotten who's at war with who, who's allied to who, that kind of stuff. Which is good because there isn't too much going on in this game. I can kind of go through it with anyone who's just joining me. And yeah, looks like somebody just joined me. Hey Sai, it's good to see you again. This is that playthrough that I was telling you about where you've pretty much conquered everything. Well, I did conquer everything a long time ago, and then I decided that I wanted to hold on to just a couple systems, basically anything that had a gateway in it, I think. Like this has a gateway, that has a gateway, that has a gateway. Because I didn't want the AI doing weird stuff with gateways. There's like a couple systems here and there that I held on to. This is an old fallen Empire's homeworld cradle. Pretty good. Brother, mother, pretty good planets. Fleet power's looking pretty nice. Want more psychic avatars if possible. So these guys are no longer protecting somebody over here. They have a non-aggression pact. What I like about this playthrough side is there's just like there's no pressure like there is in a normal game of Stellaris. Like in the playthrough that you've been watching me do recently, there's a lot of pressure for things like fallen empires and things like that. And this is just nice and easy going. Just see where the empires take themselves. A couple of them have changed their ethics, but most of them haven't. Well, actually maybe like 50-50 to be honest. Everybody's pathetic to me, but they're building up slowly. Eventually some of them are going to be equivalent, and that won't be too long. I imagine like a couple more hours of this and we'll start to see some pretty strong empires. Look, their technologies and their naval equivalent, capacity is equivalent. Well, I think their technology is equivalent because when I released them, they kept my technology, but their naval capacity is pretty good. And yeah, I'm basically a fallen empire now. Let's see. Since you haven't seen this playthrough, I should show you old Morgath here, 326 years old. I think he became immortal like when he was quite young, less than 70 years old in our society. That's pretty young. He's kept the psychic trait and the chosen one trait, which makes him a pretty awesome leader. We're warlike, got deep connections. I like the descriptions underneath. It's entrenched in a labyrinth of webs, something like that. From entrenched in the labyrinth web that makes up the political machine. And some of the writers aren't the best, but I like a lot of what they do right here. I think our heir died somewhat recently because they're not immortal. Poor things. Who's this? They're different than the people they're declaring war on. These guys are apparently a feudal empire, and they're an enlightened monarchy, even though they both have the same governing stuff, it looks like. This is only one planet with 10 pops on it. How did that happen? Did you lose a war or something? Yeah, I feel like these guys lost a war to them down here. how am I gonna end this campaign? This one might not get might go on for a little while. I might just come back to it every once in a while. With the way Paradox does branches, I can come back to this whenever I feel like it. I'm gonna record like a bit more content before I take a break from it though. I'm gonna try and record like a month's worth of content, which might sound like a lot, but it really won't take me that long. I only release like 2 hours of this every other day, so if I sit down and just play this for a while, then I'll take a break from this campaign, and that could take me a week or so to do. Probably about a week if I just kind of focus on this or one or two other things. I've got like a couple weeks of content recorded for the series that I have going on right now. I'd like to give myself a little bit more before I start up something else. The way I might end this though is eventually, after some people have risen to be pretty strong, I might go to war with them. I'll have to come up with some kind of reason to go to war with them, and when I do, then I might just kind of conquer the universe and reset it again. Who knows? If I do that, then I don't know if I'll just keep playing or if I'll just pretend or set it up for like in a way that I can come back to it at a later point. Put all these guys back on their planets, the remaining ones. I don't think they're gonna eliminate any species. I don't think any of them are extremely xenophobic, so I don't know if they're gonna purge or if they're just enslave each other. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see how I feel once I've actually played this for a while. It may be after I've reconquered the galaxy. I'm kind of bored with it, and I bet by then I'll have done all the repeatable techs. I've done so much of the technologies. I wish I told you how much you'd researched like the number of technologies right here, because this is a lot. It takes forever just to go down this stuff. Humans. I wish we had humans. The humans on Sol were forced to migrate away from Sol, and then like when I went to the galaxy view, they were just gone. They renamed Earth to Derokum. That's Earth right there. Sol 3. But yeah, if there was a way to make the humans, give the humans a nation, I would have, and I would have probably given them some kind of preferential treatment, but unfortunately no. We do have these guys, which I've given a little bit of preferential treatment, meaning a little bit of extra minerals and energy at the beginning to get started. Things like that, I think. That's what I remember doing. But these guys, they got this cool event building. It's caused by a spiritualist nation, I think. When they were like looking over some primitive nation, you can have one of your guys go down in there and basically convince them to build a pyramid to them, and shortly after that Morgath was chosen by the Shroud, and I like to pretend that these guys were worshipping Morgath, and this is that person that went down here and built the shrine was actually Morgath. So that's how they bought favor with the immortal god Emperor. God Emperor. So we got an imperial cult for one of the civics because it makes sense. I think I got an event for him when he became chosen. There was some kind of event that made him a leader and changed some of my civics around, because I started off as life seeded, which you usually can't get rid of, but I guess through certain events you can get rid of it and then replace this with actual like useful civics. most of these have been taken for role-playing purposes, because I think it makes sense that we have a police state, an aristocratic elite, and an imperial cult. I might get rid of police state. The nice thing about it is when there's a lot of open space, there was less pirates just spawning left, right, and center. Let's see, if I got rid of it, what would I make it? Everybody here knows I like Cutthroat. I'm sure it's a really good one. I don't have any slaves. My king's already at their max level. Yeah, I can show you my fleets. I guess I could take mining guilds just to get more minerals, but I don't really need it. There's nothing down here that I could get if I become a dictator, right? That's one way I could stay in charge. Anyways, let's go to fleets. How should I show this off? So this only got that's got the stuff in here. So let's see. Let's do it like that. Looks like I have Scourge missiles on my corvettes. It's an auto design. I didn't make these. Got the dragon scale armor, which is nice. Some gamma lasers to go with it. This cruiser seems to be a missile boat as well. Battleship with some nice arc emitters. I think I started to play around with ship designs actually in one of my episodes, and I wasn't sure if I liked this better or if I liked the design with yeah, I did start playing around with this stuff, or if I liked the design that used this, but in the end it looked like that was slightly better. I think it's because it has tracking and shields, whereas the swarm strikers just have 2 more guys, and they don't have like nearly as good at defenses. This does armor damage. This just penetrates the armor, so in a way it may be better because you don't have to deal with the armor. But it came out as a lower fleet power when I put them on the battleships. What's interesting is I have an auto on this thing right here. I thought I got rid of this. So if I go through them on this list, huh? Some of these are just empty little things. I bet a lot of them are. Wow. That's fun. So many of them. Alright, so this is one of my main fleets here. It's got destroyers in there as well. And those are the right ones, it looks like. It's an auto-best cruiser, huh? Okay, I want to retrofit that to be this. Prethorans. Looks like I have some of these here. Is it this one that I need to get rid of? There's 0 of them, so just tell them to be like that and it should be fine, right? No. Yeah, it's confusing.
Construction complete.
Something tells me these guys are about done with their war down here. Hopefully they can land an army on this planet.
Construction complete.
185, huh? That's not nothing. They're all psychic. So we got a Titan here. Axmat. I remember that name for some reason. Are you just named after somebody else? I think so. Pretty young. Kinda young. DES? What do you mean by DES? I don't understand, SI. But yeah, I just kind of want to see what they do. Like, these guys are no longer xenophobic, which is kind of cool. These guys are still. These guys are peaceful. Like, they all started off with this stuff, but they've kind of been gravitating towards different ethics. These guys actually are cybernetic. They have the cybernetic and psychic quality, or modifier. Cybernetic and psionic. Yeah, I'll make decisions later on in the game. Kind of roleplay it, react the way that I think makes the most sense. Totally forgot to start a little timer, so now I got that going. And I think I'll be back in chat pretty soon. It looks like it's connecting. Might have to close it down really quickly just to see what you're saying. it's gonna start playing, isn't it? Don't make noise. Internet, please. Looks like I have some kind of network issue. Which is okay, because it's not... Sorry, Sai. I hope you're not trying to say things to me, because I can't see anything on my phone right now. Hopefully, if you leave messages, I'll be able to see them when I log back in here. Well, that's fun. Still network error. Oh, look. There's something. Looks like I'm in chat again. If you want to say something, say I might be able to see it. Yeah, I think I'm in chat again. So these guys are at war, huh? It's quite a war, it looks like. I have a defensive pact with them. Looks like the Rixians aren't doing too good. I wonder where the Horde has their fleet. Probably lost it all like a long time ago. The galaxy is divided into many parts. All of these guys are pretty independent. I think there's some federations. But a lot of people have been making like defensive pacts or smaller little things. If you look here on the right, you'll see who's in certain things. These guys are working together. But I think it's only those three. Celestial Alliance has two there. There's Celestial, yeah, Alliance, and then there's Celestial Entente. That's something different. Lots of little independent peoples. How did I leave them one planet? Well, what I did is I conquered a bunch of empires, and then I migrated one species to each of the planets and exterminated all the others. I used the purge thing to get rid of all the pops that I didn't like, and then I turned everybody into psychics. After that, I went to the planets themselves, and I used this button right here, the create vassal button. If you use that button, then you can release them as vassals, and then after that you can let them be independent. So that was how I did that. I hope that's clear. Let me know if you got more questions about it, because I think it's a pretty unique idea. Well, there's the Horde. The Horde has a decent fleet down here that they've sent into enemy space to mess around with this fleet right here. Let's just follow this fleet around, see what kind of trouble it can get itself into. wonder if there's a way to get rid of numbers and things like that if I don't want them. I bet there is if I go in here. Yeah, I don't see it though. Might look into that later. It's experimental. I'm not gonna mess around with that. But yeah, we'll just have some numbers here and there to look at. Just bombing all home world right here. It's kinda sad. Not that many of them left. Once this is lower, like 400, 300, I would attack, but I don't know when this army is actually gonna think about doing that. Be interesting to see. It's kind of slow, but that's how it is sometimes. Maybe I can look at like some things in the contacts. Let's just click through them, and if anything pops out and you want me to look at them, I can do that. Wish I could see their leaders from here, because a lot of them have like kings and stuff that are going to be around for a long time. If there's anybody that you want me to click on and like show you their leader, let me know and I'll show you their leader. Or if you want to know like why these guys are the Reformed Crusaders, I can tell you, Sai. There may be some people who are just watching this episode on YouTube and they didn't watch everything, all the other episodes. They may just start it up after I reset the galaxy. I did post some stuff on the forums about it, so it's possible. All these guys are no longer xenophobic. It's nice to see. I mean, we were only xenophobic because we had to purge. We were given no alternative. The Shroud commanded it. I don't know if you're familiar with the Shroud, Sai, but the Shroud is a psionic thingy. Guys are more xenophobic. Aw. But yeah, every I think 10 years or so you can communicate with the Shroud. These guys are from before, when I was doing all that purging. Nobody in the galaxy likes me. These guys really don't like me. But it's mostly because I'm not participating in their diplomacy. I have close borders with them and I'm xenophobic. If I wasn't all of that, they'd like me. I'm not doing anything evil. But yeah, if I go here, you can see
The spirits have granted us new wisdom.
that, where is it? Our covenant is the whispers in the void, so it's talking to us, telling us what to do, subtly influencing us. I think we got that a little bit before Morgath became immortal, so you could say those things are tied together. I think that would make sense to me. Lots of nice bonuses. What do you think, Sai? What do you recommend I pick up here? Keep in mind that I've been focusing a lot on energy weapons and a little bit on explosives. Yeah, I did evil things like purging. It was for the better. Morgath had to. He didn't want to. He had to. The shroud made him do it. The voices in his head. But he can see the future, so you can excuse that, right? If you don't think anything in particular stands out, I'll probably go for some of the repeatable texts. Things that will help me in the long term. Like, if anybody goes to war with me, it'd be nice to have some nice strong defense platforms, which I already do have. I shouldn't be doing this way. Let's close this. Flak artillery. Alright, I'll go back and do flak artillery, but I want to show you, yeah, like this station right here. It's almost 80k right there. It's pretty good. Can make it better in just a couple years. Complete all texts ever. Yes, I will do that. Right now my ship design is pretty limited. But I think it's pretty optimized because I put a lot of energy weapons on there and I have done a lot of this stuff. And this stuff. Shields are always good. I wonder what other people have on their stuff. Like the Horde down here. Do they have on their boats? Torpedoes. All those are the same. A little bit of Scourge stuff. And they still have the anti-destroyer class there, huh? Interesting. They didn't even change the name. Do I have Colossus? No, I didn't go for Colossus in this game. I was kind of struggling at one point, so I went for things that I thought would be good in the short term. Like World Shaper was pretty good for me in the short term. Being able to turn my worlds into Gaia worlds was very, very useful, given the fact that I decided like I wasn't gonna get rid of this. I'm not even sure if you can get rid of the Gaia world preference. But yeah, I wanted to make the world into Gaia worlds, and now basically all these little Xenos can live on Gaia worlds. Pretty much everything out there is a Gaia world. I may have like missed a couple or left one or two that I just didn't get to for time's sake. But basically, yeah. I can't build a Colossus, unfortunately, Sai. You have to have a certain perk to build on. The Colossus is associated with a different perk. I can't even show you the different perks, but I can get Titans. I can't get the bigger one though. The biggest one is a little bit trickier to build. It's kind of annoying that it's locked behind its own perk, but that's the design choice they decided to make, and I think that that will change at some point. Maybe like a couple patches from now, because it's relatively new. But from what I can tell, pretty much nobody uses glosses, especially if you're playing competitively. Like, it's kind of fun to use in a role-playing sense, but they're just not that great. That's the problem with a lot of the longer-term investments like Titans, is they're just not as useful as they could be, as they probably should be. Like, a long-term investment should pay off. It should be quite good, but unfortunately not in Stellaris. Yeah, we have the time right now. Exactly. I wish. But I picked this, and then the last one I went for was ring worlds and things like that, so I could build ring worlds. And I've been pretty happy with that decision. This is definitely the first game where I felt the need that I had to come up with a naming strategy for my ring worlds. This is the 7th one, I think, and I don't think I have an 8th one. Looks like 7 is the it's the last one. It's Beta Refuge where I have things like. Yeah, that's where I have this one. Where's 7? I was changing the names of the systems to be things like this. Alright, at least, you know what, before I do that, let's check. I guess I wasn't renaming them, but I thought I was. There's the 4th one. Yeah, we have enough resources, we can do what we want. At one point I was thinking about trying to link up all this stuff with a kind of Silk Road type thing with a bunch of ring worlds. But that would take forever, building a ring world in each of these little systems. One of the neat things was this empire right here started building a ring world, so maybe I'll be able to connect some ring worlds later on if I let the game run for long enough. There should be a lot of little ring worlds just scattered throughout the galaxy, and I'd be very excited to see that. So I just want to leave this running for a long time. Wait, how many people have done that on YouTube? Ooh, the Shards put together a pretty big fleet right there to face off against this one. I imagine they will fight for a little bit soon. Looks like it maxed out my influence. There's no need for that, I'm not even growing on a planet, but whatever. I spent my influence on something, yay. I wish I could help these guys be better at war. You can do it. I believe in you. And this Federation fleet, it just needs an army. That's all it needs. Yeah, Titan is the last class that we can make, or the biggest one.
The spirits have granted us new wisdom.
Got some research options now. Never took Mega Cannon. I think you like Mega Cannon. Right, Sai? Mega Cannons are pretty good. I mean, I like the fact that the arc emitters just bypass shields and armor. It seems pretty powerful. Oh, and look at that, I have some living metal. Not all the empires are gonna have living metal in their space. Teldar crystals, I think, mean I'm better with kinetics, so it may be worth investing a little bit more in kinetics. I definitely missed the new strategic resources from the other campaign. They're quite good. Do I want to make people more xenophobic? I was thinking about embracing another faction, like spiritualist. Isn't this my xenophobic faction? Yeah, it'd make a lot of sense to embrace spiritualism, I think. Either that, or I can go for a more imperial society. What do you think of the idea of going over and making my people more spiritualist? Apparently my ruler is a pacifist who's warlike, because he is warlike. But his faction is peace. He wants there to be peace in the galaxy. That's all he really wants. In that case, it makes a lot of sense to embrace this. The peaceful faction. Which makes sense. A long time ago, this society did start off as pacifist. We were some form of pacifism. I forget if it was normal or fanatic. But I think you have to have some form of it to take on the agrarian civic, which was another one I took. Another nice, unique one that I took at the beginning of the game. I don't think you can take it later on. I might be able to find it in here though. There it is. So I was fanatic pacifist at the very beginning. I had this just because it gives you a nice little boost to unity. It might be time for us to become pacifists again. We got unrestricted wars. Which they don't seem to mind as long as I don't go to war. It's probably safer just to go for psionics. I mean, we have an immortal leader. We're pretty spiritualist, I think. We believe. probably wait for this to max out. Once it's at 1,000 now, I'll switch over again. Or I'll switch to something. I'll be able to switch to something else if I change my mind too. You like Pacifist? It'll give me a bonus like resource production and bonus resource production and things like that. But I can't remember what else comes with that. I can figure it out if I go to this and just find somebody who... Wait, who's on here? These guys. It just gives you a little bit more resource production, so it's okay. Where spiritualism reduce edict cost, which is quite good. I think always, forever. It might be better to go the pacifist route. They'll be happier if they're this faction now, and the difference between 13% happiness might be a bigger bonus than 5% from being pacifist. I think it would be, actually. Not all my guys are maxed out. A lot of them are, though. Look how happy we are. I think a big part of that is this right here. The boon from the shroud is making everybody just like ridiculously happy.
Incoming transmission.
What a happy little society we live in. You know, let's go back here. See how this planet is doing. Come on, planet. Fall. I don't think I'm gonna run low on unity, but extra unity from having, from becoming more spiritualist might be nice. I think if I'm gonna do anything, I should do it for role-playing sake. In a weird way, we're kind of acting like a bunch of inward perfectionists, so being more peaceful and not participating in the wars, I think, would make sense. Pushing, that would probably push us in the direction of pacifism. Food market has so much space. Yeah, they did nothing with it. Loose food pilot had 16k before it was fully integrated. I remember when I found that nation. Food pilot. For a second I was like, wait, did they make a megastructure? No, it's my megastructure thing I saw. I hope more guys start building this. It's just, I don't get any notifications, so the only way to really see it is just by chance panning across things like this. Doesn't look like any new megastructures so far. That's the icon right there. So much stuff. There's that one. Didn't know that was there, so I was looking for it a bit. Yeah. It's gonna be a while before any more countries build anything like that. Ooh, the Shard has built up a pretty big fleet here. I feel like once they take this planet, they're gonna regret it because this fleet's gonna move off and get blown up. That's my prediction, at least. Looks like pretty much everything has the defenses it can. I put some anchorage points on here. I guess I wanted to have some more fleet power. Something like that. I could probably afford to build up my fleet a tiny bit more over the capacity. I think I can do a Corvette on top of that, and that will complete that fleet that's sitting out there, not really doing anything. Well, definitely not doing anything, but just, yeah, sitting out here. Seems like a lot of them have this logistician thingy, which is pretty good. It's not terrible. These guys are still fighting this war. Wow, that looks pretty secure. Why is that? You got one fortress there. Thing here. Another fortress there. Is that all it takes to make that large of a defense? I guess eventually it will get blown up though if you kind of like park over the tile long enough. Looks like I just put some different people in charge of these things to make sure I had the governance. I must just have extra leaders lying around. Enough scientists. Hired a general even. Doesn't apparently do anything. What a great general. Pretty good garrison strength on my homeworld there. There's a nice one. Look at that.
The spirits have granted
I wonder
us
if I could
new
manage
wisdom.
to get more. If I wanted to, I could probably replace this, but then my unity gain would be a little bit lower. It seems like a pretty secure planet there. Like it. Looks like this is just very fortified. Ah, I see. They want to put somebody's brain in the science nexus. It's probably not worth it, to be honest. At this point in the game, it would kill a scientist for a tiny, tiny bit of science. Let's see, who is this scientist? Totalum. You're just some guy who does a little bit of voidcraft. You're not even that old or experienced. So this guy's gonna live forever. It's kind of like being a chosen one. We're doing it. Right, Sai? Any objections? I'm gonna wait a little bit, but since I haven't seen anything so far, I assume you're okay with me sacrificing poor old Toludum. Goodbye. You will be remembered. See if we can figure out where that guy was. Probably this one, right? Yeah, that seems like a good candidate for this guy. And it looks like we just had a couple things expire. Ooh, 276. An admiral dies of old age. That's quite sad. We will remember you. Like how the Praetorians, nice and old too. Evasion and sublight speeder, pretty good. Oh, okay. I thought it was something else. Looks like I lost you, Sai. I don't see you anymore. Over in chat or in the stats even. Ooh. They did it! Yeah! Happy for you guys. Hope you can afford to build a new one. Even though I think you're at war. Yes, you are. With these guys, huh? I see, I thought there was just one nation. Really? It's a testament. Good luck. And make yourself a nice mega structure. You know you want to. I think I'm still connected to the internet. Yeah, looks like it. It's just gone dark. Or quiet. Sorry, Crusaders. We do not approve of you and your way of life. I think it's time to zoom in on some of these fleets. Still just hanging out. At least this is almost ready for them to invade. We're gonna assume that they're just waiting. Maybe I'll go check on that other war between the Gorf and that Federation soon. I'd imagine it's just the Gorf against that Federation. Who knows? We'll see soon enough. Are they landing? It looks like they're landing. You're gonna need more than just 3 of those. How about you land instead of follow? Oh boy. Here comes the unnecessary loss. So sad and hard to watch. The fleet has just been like waiting there forever to lose. Retreat.
Construction complete.
That went about as I expected. Or pretty much the way I expected it to go. They're not building up their fleet from what I can tell. These guys have way more. And they're building up their stuff over here. So these guys are at war with just them? These guys have a lot. It's just like, I don't know if they can move them anywhere. They got no ability to send this giant fleet over to fight off the Gorf. Even though they can. Like, they have the force power to do this. To win this. It looks like they're gonna win eventually anyways. Just need a gateway or something. Oh, look, a gateway. Just what I was talking about. Good for you. You're actually defending this too. Cool. You might recover. I hope they do. Okay, they finally integrated this so they can expand out here now, right? They're attacking. Oh no. They don't have a gateway over here as far as I can see. They're gonna have to build their own. Just complicated a universe. That one seems to highlight the borders around here pretty well, I guess. Star Angels and the Dark Angels are friends. Aw. I know these guys have a lot of claims on. Yep, these guys right here. I think some kind of defensive pact is keeping these guys from fighting against each other, but they really don't like each other. These guys have been the strongest for a long time, or at least one of the strongest nations for a long time. Same with all of these three. Not too sure about them. Still looks like they're hanging out over here. Let me guess they're gonna attack when they're just slightly outnumbered again. It's a perfect move. Nobody will see it coming. Are they at war too? No, they just don't like him. Let's see. If they had joined in on this, then it would have been an interesting little fight. Maybe in the next war they will. These guys are actually in a federation, huh? Yay, more research. Now do I keep going after this is done, just to record a little bit? I feel like I might. I had the time for today. If I do, I might just take a little break and come back to this later. Well, it looks like they actually have an army here somehow. They assembled one, and they attacked. See where this guy ends up. What's this? Oh, of course, that makes sense. I wonder where this guy is going. He's going to a star base, huh? He's going north. Right, means he's going up here. Which means he's going to eventually run into that. Oh, that thing's weaker than it used to be. Never mind. It's strong again. Well, this is sad. I was hoping the Horde would do well, but I think they're about to lose their fleet to that. It's nice knowing you. do want to watch this fleet just in case anything interesting happens. I think it's gonna get itself in trouble soon. I mean, they are related to the Horde, so they should get themselves in some trouble, right? That's what I'm expecting. Come on, fleet. You can do something interesting. I know you can. Poor scientist. So they're just going back here to blow up that little fleet, huh? That's okay, I guess. Good luck not dying. It's almost in position now. Well, it won't be much longer until something interesting happens. I like how with the army there, it covers up the real fleet power so you can't really see what's going on. It's nice up close, isn't it? Pretty game. It's an old queen there. Old xenophobic queen. On the move. Where are they going now? Well, they actually have a target. Might go find that target soon. See where they're going. like they're changing their path. Look at him go. So fast. Slowly getting to their goal. But they'll get there. Just jumping around, huh? How exciting. And let's go see that other war. The one with the Gorf. You guys doing anything with your fleets? Yes, apparently you're invading them up here. It apparently takes a while to do this. Their ally's gonna need to do something like it too. Why did that try to disable itself? My headphones just almost turned themselves off, but it looks like OBS is recording. Cool. That is good news. Happy to hear that, or rather to see that. It's 2% in like what? Half a month? A month? That's pretty slow. Yeah, I didn't know those were so slow. But I guess they are. Extremely slow. At least this one's flying into stations and stuff. Is this thing attacking? Because it sounds like it is. That I heard the sound of attack. It looks like they did attack, but they lost their army. Brilliant. But what I heard was the invasion failing. I bet that thing gets disturbed right as it's about to finish building. It's just the construction site too. Yeah, it's not gonna be good when this engages that. This guy's actually pushing north, it looks like. Well, look at that. Gotta start thinking about what I'm gonna call this one. Well, maybe Ring World Complete. Xeno Ring World Complete. Be a good one. What happened, right? Finally got around to completing that big building. seem to be making their way through the space pretty freely. Shaman have sent another 10k over here. Try and reclaim this stuff a little bit, it looks like. I mean, their homeworld has been occupied, which is going to really, really hurt them. Looks like they did a good job defending themselves in this war, the Weavers of Fate. Cool. Oops, shouldn't have left the cursor there. They got such nice fleets here, and they're just sitting there, not doing anything. No, but I've got close borders. Could get there. Honestly, I'm not too sure if they could get there from my space. It's their fault for not having a better path through this space right here. About time to convert away from xenophobia. The thing about having it is it's going to make reclaiming enemy systems a lot easier. So I might just keep it around for future wars, or the possibility of future wars. I know that it's not easy to make a faction xenophobic, or an empire xenophobic once it's not, because This empire started off as not xenophobic, as pacifist something rather, and I ended up, I think it was like pacifist spiritualist, but I ended up deciding that I wanted to be xenophobic, and it was not easy getting the factions to be, what, more than 20% support. You can take mining guilds, I think. Do that in the next episode though, just to give myself something a little bit different. Like the fact that there was a Xeno ring world completed. Finished that project. And look, it's got Betharian stone. I don't understand why they're always doing this. They should use their adjacency. They must really want some research. Just build a lab here, here, and then put that guy there. Yeah, you're strange. Very, very strange. Got one here. It's going to take them a couple years. Wow. The construction is just going to get blown up by this thing, isn't it? They must have lost that in a war or something like that. Very strange border. These guys must have taken that off this Saventi. I forgot when that happened, but it happened a while ago. These guys are still at war. That war will end. war for the history books. Peace. Star Angels, Reclaimers. Took pretty much everything. Not their planets, actually, just a couple systems. Pretty much all of their systems, except for this one, and this one, it looks like. Not sure why there's a gateway in this one. They have one. It's not a great war for them. Claimers are probably just happy they still have 2 planets. Yeah, defensive pact with that. You might want to think about more. Like a federation of some kind. That would be my recommendation. Spawning habitats like crazy here. Build a ring world. Don't be foolish. I think it would tell me if there's any other mega structures out there. That seems to be like an important enough detail that it will just let you know when somebody's making one. That's my best guess. That fleet gets smashed when I wasn't looking. Those guys seem like they're at full strength. There's the enlightened horde right there. They're jumping around. That's fun for them. Yay, leader lifespan. It's always good. Always good in my books, at least. Somehow that's at 29 defense platforms. I don't know how that happened. I'll take it though. Guess it glitches out sometimes and that lets you build more than it should. Look, this one's, yeah. Definitely glitched. Still 50k is pretty strong. Take it over nothing. I like how this 35 is about as strong as the 23 defense platforms here. I don't really understand why that is. Some of these, the big things, only 2. This has 2 other things to go with it, huh? Oh look, they're like a different color for whatever reason. Maybe they came with it? Come with this or something weird? That's what I'm gonna assume happened. More war. Well, yeah, it's 2 hours just checking that. I guess it's time for me to do my outro. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to leave a like and to subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. I got some links in the description below, and that's all I had to say. I will see you around in the next one.